Hello again, guys. Just gonna do a quick video here of me sharpening up this 36-inch chain on my 394. It's full house chain. It's a freaking pain in the butt to sharpen all these teeth, but it's not cutting that bad. It's not cutting as good as it could be either. So we're just gonna give her a little bit of a freshen up. I've got some bigger maple I have to cut. I'm probably going to end up cutting the stump off. But get this to stay put. Take this top cover off because it's already kind of messed up. As you can see, it's got a big crack in it. Working on getting a new one. Take this air pot off as well. Need to clean my filter as well. I'll do that this weekend before I cut with it. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to get this chain freshened up. I'll show you guys some of the teeth. And, if I can get it to hold still, lean over this thing like a big old bench vise. Oh. Wish I had my bench vise right about now. Like I said, I'm just trying to get it cutting a little better because I cut some big ash with it the other day. I had this sucker buried in there in a fork. And there's not too many times I run out of bar, but that was one of them. So, what have you guys been up to? Been doing any cutting? I've been doing quite a little anyways when I'm not working. Cut some maple up the other day with the 450, just some brush type stuff. It wasn't really worth videoing. The reason I didn't video the big ash is because it was in town and it was kind of a get it down in a hurry type of a deal. Nice thing about this chain not being super dull yet is it's not all that hard to resharpen. I'll show you guys the chain I'm working with here. Get you out of the mount here. I mean, as you guys can see, it's really not all that dull. But it is a little on the duller side. That top corner right there has just been a little bit dusted. And the rakers are a touch high, so we're gonna adjust them as well. Yep, my shop's dirty. You guys can't hardly see, can you? Let's adjust that camera angle for you. I haven't had a chance to clean the shop out. I've been busy working and cutting. Okay. Where were we? That tooth's sharp. That one's not. That one is. Must be on this tooth. Yeah, we're just trying to get this top plate of this chain back in good shape. Got plenty of hook in it. I just want to make sure she's good and sharp for when I stick it in some ash and maple. I mean, it was still pulling a pretty good chip, but it could have been better. The rakers were a little low, or a little high, I mean. But you don't want to get them too low, because if you get them too low on a bar this long, you are going to hate your life. It is going to be a miserable day of cutting for you. With a bar this long, you can't deal with a little bit low rakers. And yeah, I could stick this in the grinder and grind it up and get a pretty good grind on it, but the grinder does an okay job. I'm trying to learn how to hand file, so I'm getting a little better at it. So I figured we'd give her a try. This is about the 4th time this chain's been sharpened, so the rakers are due to come down again. Yeah. She's gonna cut now. Oh yeah. Yeah, the other day, a friend of mine, he hits me up and he says, "Hey, you still taking on saws?" I said, "Well, it kind of depends on what they are. I'm still adding to the collection, but they got to be the right saw." And he goes, "Well, I got this home light." So yeah, what is it, an XL or a Super XL or something like that? He goes, "No, it's a 330. So, oh, okay. What kind of shape's it in?" And he says, "Pretty darn good shape." And I go, "Oh yeah?" And he goes, "Yep, I still got the home light case. You still read home light on the bar. And still got the owner's manual." So that's pretty good shape. You got any pictures? When somebody around here says I got a good shape old saw, good shape for one person's completely different than another, but he wasn't lying when he said it was in good shape. Make sure you guys can see that. Still read Made in USA on there. Still read home light on the bar. And here's the top cover. I got it to fire on gas down the carb, but she ain't a runner yet. But air filter's covered in oil, but it's all still there and intact. That's the main thing, is it's actually still there. But yeah, this is gonna be a project. I think I'm going to take it down to my home light buddy's house. He likes working on them, so I figure if he wants to help me get it running, I'll let him. The chain's duller than snot on this thing, and it's 3/8 chain, but I can't tell who it's made by. It's got a goofy raker system to it. It's not like the Husky chain where the rakers come up and then they got a flap to the side. It's actually got the middle raker and then 2 rakers on each side. It's kind of a goofy setup chain, but I don't know. We'll give it a run. If I don't like it, I'll take the chain off, put it on something else that I don't like as much. I'll probably get a different bar for it, and I'll keep that bar for the show bar. So that's going to be a shelf clean saw, be my guess, after I get it running. Yeah, this saw, I don't know if I've given you guys a backstory on this saw, but it's got monster compression now. first got it, it didn't. When I first got it, a buddy of mine, actually the guy that's probably going to help me work on that home light, he buys and sells a lot of two-stroke stuff and small engines in general. Does a lot of trading and swapping and such. He found out I had a two-stroke Polaris, a little 250 Trail Boss or something like that, you know. And it didn't run and it needed some parts, but he needed the motor out of it because it needed a starter was pretty much what it needed. I mean, it needed a tune-up, but it needed a starter. And he saw my dad's 268 and he goes, "Are you a Husky guy?" And I go, "Yeah, you bet. Ain't nothing better when it comes to timber cutting." Yeah, I'm probably going to make a few of you guys mad about that, but you know what? I've ran Echoes, I've ran Johnsons, I've ran Stills, but you can't beat a good Husky. It's real hard to beat a good Husky. And they're just like everybody else. They do make a lemon or two. And you got to treat them right, but these Huskies will take a heck of a beating. And they'll still run pretty good. Heck, look at this thing. This muffler's been patched back together, and this chain brake don't work right. This top cover's busted to hell. But she still runs pretty good. She drags a 36 pretty nicely. And he says, "I've got a big Husky if you want it." I go, "All right, well, I'll come down and look at it." My dad had a Polaris 425 that would have probably ran, but it had been sitting for a couple years. I go down there and I thought maybe it was like a 288 or something like that, because he said it was kind of older. And I go down there and he pulls this out. Whoa! Pretty good looking song. It's all there. And it had some compression, but I was kind of suspicious because it didn't thump. It just kind of blew, you know. It didn't thump you over real hard. He tried to pull it over. And he goes, "Yeah, a buddy of mine had it, and he needed to pay a bill, and said it runs." So I took it up to the guy that works on pretty much all of my stuff when it's beyond my abilities, because I figured it needed a carb kit and maybe a few other things to get going. He calls me about a week and a half later and he says, "Well, I'll be straight with you. That 94 you brought in, it needs a top end." I go, "Yeah, how bad is it?" He said, "I wouldn't run it." And well, he says he wouldn't run it. It means it's pretty bad. I wish I had the cylinder to show you guys, but it probably would have ran 6 months, maybe. But it was scored up on the exhaust side, and the skirt was kind of tore up on the piston. So I told him, I said, "Well, what's it going to cost me?" He said, "Well, you can't get 94 cylinders anymore unless you go aftermarket. So if you want to go OEM, you go with a 95 piston cylinder." I said, "Okay, well, what's the price difference?" He says, "Well, the price difference is about $40 more for the OEM." I go, "Okay, well, what's the quality difference?" And he said, "Well, I can guarantee the OEM, but I can't guarantee the aftermarket piston and cylinder kit." And I go, "Okay, go the OEM." So he switched it over to OEM 395 piston cylinder, intake boot, carburetor, air horn, and got me a brand new filter. And I traded them 2 4-wheelers that I had maybe $100 in, and he charged me about $350. So you figure about $400. I get me a running 90cc saw, and I had an Echo 8000 at the time that was my bigger saw, or my felon saw, so to speak. That's why this is an Echo bar. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is actually an Echo 36. It's not a Husky or an aftermarket bar, it's an Echo bar. And even before this thing was woke up, it would walk all over that 8000. That 8000 was kind of sluggish. Don't get me wrong, it was a good saw, reliable as hell. It'd cut, but if you bury this bar, it'd take you a while to cut it, because it just didn't have the gonads when you get into bigger wood. If you'd put a 24 on that 8000 and cut against my dad's 268, Dad's 268 would walk all over that 8000. There was nothing wrong with the 8000. It was a good running saw. It just, muffler was choked up, and I didn't really have time to mess with it. So I didn't really want to mess with it. So I put it up on Facebook, and a couple guys from Omaha decided they had to have it because they needed a bigger saw. I told them, I said, it's slower cutter, but it'll get her done. And they seemed to like it. They still got it. They brought it back. But I probably wouldn't take it back anyway. I don't know. This saw has just got, yeah, it is a little more displacement, but there's a huge difference between them two saws. I'm talking huge. I'll bet you that same wood, same bar, same chain with this 36. I'll bet you this would be 5 seconds faster in a cut, just because it was really that slow of a cutter. Freaking slow, old girl, but it'd cut it. Yeah, I know. I'm not using a raker gauge. Shoot me in the comments. I know, they're not that expensive. Why don't you just buy one? Well, I don't really have an answer to that, to be honest. I have the one that sits over several teeth, and I hate it. I do not like it. It doesn't seem like it takes off enough raker to cut very good, so. I've had pretty good results so far just freehanding it. And you can kind of tell by looking at the tooth whether your raker's too high or too low. I mean, they're obviously not going to be exact like they would be with a raker gauge, but they'll be close. And the channel is doubly named Imperfect Cuts because they're not always a straight cut. Sometimes you get a rock hit or something and you gotta finish that cut up and it goes a little wonky on you. That's alright. Splitter don't mind. I don't know if you guys are real interested in what I'm using as my workbench, but this is actually some really nice rough cut 2-inch walnut. I know this color is kind of deceiving, but it had a real big growth ring to it. That's why it looks like it's white. But it's walnut, I promise. It's actually really nice walnut. Looks real good when it's planed down and sanded. Dad's gonna go look at a planer tomorrow, so we'll see. It's just a little 13-incher. It ain't nothing big, but it'll do most of this stuff, and that's what I kind of need to do is get a bunch of this stuff planed down so I can use it for this and that and the other. I moisture tested this stuff the other day. About 7.5%. It's about as dry as it gets, hair drying. Yeah, I know, my moisture tester is not the nice one. It's just the one with the 2 prongs, but it does a good enough job. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon. Ship it to my house. And it does a good enough job to where I can get a pretty good idea of where my lumber's at, moisture content wise. Usually whatever it reads, you can add a percent or two to the core of your wood, and that's about what you got. But even so, 10%, that's pretty dry for air dry. This ain't kiln dry in here. This is just straight up air dry. But this stuff's also been in here a while. This particular walnut has been in here since October, probably, of 2020. Yeah, that's about right. It's probably just before Halloween. Or no, the pine below it's been in here since October. This has been in here since about August. Yeah, August. But we've also got some beautiful ash slabs on the bottom that they're 2 live edge ones, and I'm gonna rip one live edge off, and I'm gonna dowel them together and have a live edge kitchen table out of it is the goal. But I gotta see if I can talk to one of my Amish buddies that's got a monster planer and get him to plane them for me. Yeah, I don't know really what spurred the moment of wanting to do this video. I know I ain't posted in a little while. I guess it was more of a wanting to get this stuff out there, show you guys what I do anyway. I mean, you don't have to have all them fancy gadgets and such. Does it probably help you get a faster cut? That's debatable. Probably. Certainly a more consistent cut. Because you can get every raker low enough to where they're cutting good, regardless of the size of your tooth. But this will do just fine for now. I am going to get a Husky raker gauge. The one that's got 2 different settings for hardwood and softwood. That way I can set my rakers. On this chain, I'm always going to set it at the hardwood setting because it's such a long bar and it's full house. If it was a skip tooth and I know I was going to be in like maple or something like that, I might go with a softwood setting. But problem being is once you set it to softwood, you got to sharpen it 2 or 3 times before you get it back to where a hardwood setting normally would be. So I'm thinking in a couple weeks I'm actually going to buy a skip tooth chain. I've never owned a skip tooth. I'm going to give it a try. But that's my last tooth, or my last raker. So I'm going to put this back together and show you guys kind of what the teeth look like after they're sharpened. Also, another thing I need to order is a freaking top cover for this. This top cover is beat up. Show you what they look like. Focus in now. Okay. See how it's nice and sharp now? And I just took the tip off the rakers. I didn't file them down very low, but that's a pretty good example of what I think is pretty sharp chain. Might not be factory sharp, but it'll get the job done. Another saw I wanted to kind of show you guys is this one of my dad's. This is the very last Echo we have. It's a 680. It's not a bad saw. Dad's 268 will outcut this. Same CCs, but got a brand new bar, fairly brand new chain. Second sharpen. The only reason it's got a sharpen on it is because Dad hit concrete with it the other day cutting in town. But it's a pretty good little saw. I mean, it's got pretty good compression. Ain't the highest compression in the world. What I like is this manual override. I actually really like that. Get into a real hardwood or a big knot or something, you can give her a little more oil. And yeah, it might use a little more, but heck, it doesn't matter. Oil's cheap compared to a saw. Yeah, the oil filter, or that air filter is just packed full. I need to clean that out. Alright, guys, that's probably going to be all for today. I'm going to probably spray this out with some brake clean. As you guys can see, that thing is just nasty. Alright. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see content-wise. Thank you. Bye.